So first of all, um, we should have announced this much earlier, but she, I mean, even we came to know that she's come here on short notice. She is studying in Ahmedabad. So maybe she'll come again where we'll get a lot more NATA students at least specifically, and she can talk to them as well, and y'all can ask questions or something like that. For example, if you want to know about SEPT, or there are some other colleges that she's recommending in Ahmedabad which have been started by SEPT faculty. So there could be a lot of other things that she knows that you all could learn from. So to introduce, this is Sai Netra Ramesh. She was the first Karnataka first rank in 2013 for NATA. What was your NATA score?
139.
139. Okay, and she went into CEPT, CPT. Okay, so specifically for those who are here, NATA students, maybe she can just talk about some background about what to expect, what to be prepared for, and possibly maybe what to expect in the first year of architecture, on how CEPT is, or if there is anything that you would like to ask her, you could ask her at the end. Okay, so maybe you can just introduce yourself a little, and then talk about NATA, just basic what you did, um, how it was, the exam, and how was your first year of architecture and how things are going.
Yeah, okay. Hi, I'm Sai Netra. I'm now in my fourth year doing my architecture at CEPT University. I gave my NATA in 2013, and I came to DQ Labs for the drawing part of the coaching. So the thing that I realized through the process of working for NATA was that I had a lot of skills that I had developed with, at that time I used to just copy art and I used to think I draw well and things. But then the thing that I realized that in NATA, they're not just checking your skills, they're trying to see how differently you can think and how you can apply that to how you draw. They might not necessarily see how beautifully you're rendering your drawing, but they would really see about how different, how specially you're trying to create that particular perspective or any view that they're giving. So that's something I realized. And as for practice, I think I got a huge amount of practice here at DQ Labs from a lot of case studies. I learned to draw humans here. There was a lot of things like that. And another thing that could really help would be get every one of your family involved in your process of working for NATA. Like tell everybody that you're doing this crazy exam where they expect you to do views like you're an ant and you're a fly and things like that, and tell them to just think whatever they want and tell you that okay, draw this for me. So I had this whole group of family members telling me the most bizarre and most random views to draw, and then it was really challenging because the things that my sister would think was very different from what my grandpa would think, and I had to cater to all of theirs. And they are very blunt about their opinions. They wouldn't flatter me and say, oh no, this is nice. So that is something. And yeah, so uh, another thing is for the part where you have the still life and stuff. It's really important that that you understand light and shadow really well. The thing that I realized that I had different from a lot of the others who were drawing next to me during the NATA was you should try to pick a really interesting angle for the light which is falling. Like if they have given you a composition to create, it's not it is very important that you create an interesting composition first of all, but the other thing also is about how you place the light that you're going to give to this object so that the composition gets enhanced. Probably you create really interesting patterns with the shadows that get created with the objects that you've composed together. So it's not just about when they say the exercise is 3D composition, it's not about just putting the things together. It's about how you make your outcome look very interesting and show that you've put in a lot of thought into it. It's not just about that you just put something together in your head and you just drew it and you render it well. That's really not what they're looking at. I know some professors who do judge NATA papers, and those are the criteria which they're looking at. It's not just about the external things, which we happen to believe are really important. That is not the case. And when it comes to the 2D composition part, actually, I got something that I wasn't expecting, so I flopped a little over there. But then I would I would recommend you to practice a lot on that. I had practiced a lot of things, but then I got something related to pet animals, and I had never practiced drawing animals, so it really came back at me, and then I did something that I wasn't completely proud of. So yeah, so it's like, don't only look up previous year papers. It's really important to go according to the previous year papers, but it'll be really helpful if you sort of put yourself in the question maker's position and try to think of how they would like to challenge you and create really interesting compositions for yourself. Practice them out. It takes a lot of work. It's not that you sit here for a few hours, work, and then go back or anything. What you do here is where you learn, and where you execute it and where you develop your skill is when you practice a lot. You have to put in a lot of effort on practicing how you do these things, because it's not going to come by just thinking. But the more you do these things, the more you realize how much better you can do these things. It just comes with practice. And yeah, when it comes to the other part of the test, I think yeah, it's just a lot of research that you just sit in your free time and look up logos and look up buildings and things like that. It's just that can get you through. That is one thing. And so yeah, my experience, I did my NATA, and I got the first rank in CET, Karnataka, and I stood fifth on the All India merit list for the SEPT this thing. And so yeah, at our time, there were just 2 seats for outstate general category. So it was like in the whole country, it was a very big fight, sort of just 2 of us getting into the thing, but then it happened. But the good thing now is that they have increased the number of seats, and they have relaxed the reservation for the Gujarat quota. So I think everyone has a much better chance. They've opened out like I think around 20 seats now, including the reservation, but it's that much. So that can yeah. So
Just one minute.
okay, okay. I don't know what I was saying. Okay, yeah.
Talking about the increase in the number of
Yeah,
seats.
there is an increase in the number of seats, and from what I realize, a lot of people don't know about this. So a lot of people have lost out on the opportunity of trying to get into SEP. I don't see that a lot of you are aspiring to go there, but let me tell you, it's worth it. It's really worth it. It's not just about learning fancy architecture and things like that. It is a university which is really looked up to, and there are a lot of changes happening within the curriculum and things like that. But then the approach that you have towards studying and towards doing architecture is very different. It's more experiential rather than going. I mean, as it is, this architecture course itself is more experiential than what you would compare to engineering or something. But when it comes to SEP, you really do things hands-on, and you realize things for yourself. You are just not spoon-fed whatsoever, and you the other thing is you get to know a lot of things about yourself that you never knew before. I'm not talking about a spiritual sense. I'm talking about a lot of skills that you never knew. So right now, I am majorly an architecture student. I just finished my internship and stuff. But I, there are these other events like sketching trips and AWAs and things. There are clubs in the university, which sort of. So there was a sketching trip club which really fascinated me, and I had never done something like that before. So we went around. Ahmedabad is a very interesting city to go to as architects. So we would go to really interesting different buildings all around the city, and then you would the seniors would ask you to sketch the building, and that was not something I did before. I used to draw portraits, and I used to draw some artwork which I would have seen somewhere. This was something really new to me, and it really appealed to me because your it is your way of perceiving a building, which is really important as architecture students, because you're learning about the building without necessarily measure drawing it or something. Because if you just see, try it for yourselves if you want. Go to any building, say Vidhan Sauda or something, go across it, click few pictures with your phone, and come back that day and try to write down what things you saw, what things you noticed about the building. The next day, just try sitting there and sketching the Vidhan Sauda, and then you'll realize that in the process of sketching, you're noting down so many little interesting details that you would have never seen if you were not doing that. So, and the other thing is, when you represent those things, you're you're really expressing yourself in a very different way from how you would present your final sheets okay, you don't know about that. So we have drawings that we present in the end of our semesters. So that presentation is very different from this, and I must tell you, this is way more fulfilling. So it's a very beautiful learning experience, and that is now one of my very great passions, and I would really not do it if not for SEPT. I would never try sketching. And now I used to head the club, sketching trip club at SEPT. And even otherwise, actually, you get exposed to so many interesting people because it's a very cosmopolitan culture within SEPT. You get to meet a lot of really interesting people, people with very different backgrounds, and especially now that the outstate quota has increased, it will be even better. So you see a lot of different arenas for yourself. You go into photography, you go into graphic design, and a lot of different things like that. And now me and my friend, we've started an enterprise of our own for graphic design. So we make logos, we make album art, a lot of things like that. So it's not just about architecture. I've gotten to know so many others. I've gotten to see so much more, and I think it adds a lot of value to even your study as architecture students, just plainly architecture. That is one thing. And even exposure to culture, exposure to music, dance forms, all that happens very well, I feel, in a place like SEP. I'm not trying to sell it to you, but that is what I've really seen. But as compared to a lot of my peers from my batch who didn't go to SEPT, I can clearly see that my view of things, I feel, is a lot more mature when it comes to this, because I feel I've been exposed to more. So, I mean, a lot of you might have the thing that, I'll just stay at home and I don't want to go away from home. I just want to, get it over with. I'll study well and I'll be successful here. You could do that, but I mean, it's really something big, and you don't want to lose out on that just because you want to stay home. That's not a valid reason, because I did have that. I did want to stay in Bangalore just because I didn't want to budge out of here. But then Sean sir told me about SEPT. I wouldn't even know about it otherwise. So then I saw that my score was, pretty good. So then I thought I'll try my hand at SEPT, and I did get it. And I was starting a tantrum at home that I don't want to leave and things. But then yeah, I did, and I would really regret it if I didn't do that. My life would be very different in a bad way. So I would really, if I'm not saying SEPT, but if you do realize that you like a way an institution functions, if you see that some students are doing interesting work, don't shy away from it just because it's far from home, or you think you don't want to live independently and things like that. That's really not a criteria. It's because, and the other thing that happens is, as I was saying, to talk about the first year in architecture, it is it's a very new process, because you don't do anything that you did all these 12 years of your life. Nothing of it. You are not studying from books at all. You're not studying any of the subjects you studied before. There's no math, there's no English, there's no science, there's no social studies, nothing. You have subjects like basic design and visualization and representation. For first, it just sounds like these are just bizarre concepts you sort of saw as terms, and these are subjects. You're going to be marked on these things, and you don't have an exam. How does that work? It took me a lot of time to realize that judging you is not on the basis of an exam. The way you work through the semester is all that your teachers are going to see. It's as simple as that. A lot of different things, like we have studios and any subjects where we have four faculties teaching us, and there is no classroom thing where the teacher's sitting in here, they're roaming around everywhere. the desks don't face anywhere. It's really random to think that way, that what is happening. So first of when you first hear these things, you're like, oh my god, this sounds like it's a really cool thing to do. But then it takes a lot of unlearning, which is not very easy in the first year, because you start to really question a lot of things, because it's really hard the first year of architecture, because you're doing a lot of new things. The marking systems are very different. You probably are really smart and you've been getting 90s all your life, and then like one experience, we had a stool drawing exercise. So there are these typical stools of sept which exist, and we were asked to make, I think, 50 stools every day. We had to make 50 stools and 50 compositions with stools every day. And we had to submit, so it was like this huge bundle of sheets which we have to submit. And if you don't submit, there is nothing. In the end, they want that many sheets in the end of the semester. So if you don't, you're only going to pile it up for your next submissions. So and first of all, when you start doing, you're like, okay, I'll do my best and things. When I was sitting next to my professor and I was doing it, he came next to me, he saw the stool, he saw this, and he's like, what nonsense are you doing? That was something really shocking to me, because no one ever had called my drawing nonsense. I mean, I was artist of the school and things like that, and someone's telling me my drawing nonsense. That just, it really shook me. A lot of things like jury and everything, they're not nice. They're not going to be nice to you. They're not going to spoon feed you. In the juries, they're just going to tell you, I don't understand your concept. And it's up to you to defend your project. If you don't, then it's your loss. Nobody's going to ask you, like, no, it's okay, tell me, I'll listen. Not happening. So you're really thrown into the, water, and it might seem really hard, and there are a lot of people that quit in this situation, because they feel it's really very hard to sort of come out of it. And there are a lot of easy professions out there, where you're just giving exams, you're done, and you're done with your degree. That's quite simple. But uh, once you do learn how to swim through that water, it's the best thing that can happen. I can assure you of that. So yeah, that's, I guess, about it. So, and the main thing that I would really like to say again would be that you might have a lot of positions through the course where you would want to quit it, because it's not at all about success. Because I think the kind of journey we go through is that, you give exams and you give 10th grade, you got a decent result, you got into college, and it's done. Whereas I think it's general, actually. What I learned was that it's not really that way. You work on a project with all your might, you do 3 night outs together, you wake up the next morning and show it to your professor, and he just doesn't approve of anything simply because he was in a bad mood. But you can't question him, he's the professor. As simple as that. So you just need to take that in and try to convince him the next day, which he might not get convinced even that day. But it's just up to you to sort of keep it going, and then you'll realize that once you're done with your project and you look at it, what your professor was doing to you was really useful, because he made you make at least 10 iterations of what you thought was perfect in the first iteration itself. But what has evolved out of this process is something you would have never imagined that you could have created at first. And the main thing, the most beautiful part of doing this is that these are all your thing. There is nothing that anybody has done for you in this. Your project, your design idea or whatever, it's completely yours. You decided that a pillar will come here. You decided that a wall will come here. So if you're doing something wrong, you're doing something wrong to yourself. And if your project does get appreciated, that sense is just above all, because it's like you got appreciated. It's not about just something that you made. So it's a very beautiful experience, I feel, the process of going through this. And I would just again like to say that don't think of quitting at any point of time. I know at this stage you'll think that no, I'm never going to quit. But when you get there, you really get those thoughts. I did too. But then it's really worth it to come out of the process and go through it, even if it's hard. So yeah, all of this, even the exam and stuff, just go with the flow, work hard. That's really important, and do interesting things. It's no point just shutting out everything interesting you did. Leaving out hobbies is the worst thing that ever happens, I think. Don't do that. Don't ever do that, because you never know what leads to what. Yeah, basically. That's about it. I guess you have any questions? that is going to happen. That is so going to happen. Yeah.
Be ready for that, but it's good. And like she said, it's not just about learning here, it's about going home and really practicing. Going and looking at things on the net and referring things on the net. You're lucky at least have put something like, in the past many students have told me, show some examples, put some examples. So that's why I've put a lot of things for you all together on Pinterest, right? So that you can go there and refer and you have a lot of examples to read upon, okay? But anyway, anybody wants to ask some questions, any questions that come to your mind, you can ask. Does anybody want to ask something regarding NATA, architecture, school, or design, or anything like that? Anybody at this point of time? No, your talk was so good that they understood everything. Okay, fine. So we'll close it for now. Maybe we'll just sit out there. So we'll kind of talk to you and ask you a few questions. Okay, okay.